This is KD Drummond of bloggingtheboys.com, and we're here to count down the top 5 storylines and training camp battles for the 2012 Dallas Cowboys training camp. In true countdown fashion, number 5, the inside linebacker competition. 2011 second round draft pick Bruce Carter versus 2012 free agent acquisition Dan Connor. Now, Carter is the athletic freak, sideline to sideline, can check tight ends, can check backs out of the backfield and in the flats. He can pretty much do everything athletically on the field. And then you have Dan Connor, who is, more of a run stopper, first down, second down type of player. My question is, with the NFL changing into a passing league, why would you wait until third down to get your best pass defenders onto the field? For me, it's a no-brainer. Carter should win this battle as long as he's adept at reading the offense and flowing to the ball. It shouldn't even be a contest. Dan Connor is ninth depth, but you really want to have somebody that can play multiplicity. That's the theme of this year's training camp and 2012 season for Rob Ryan's defense. Multiplicity, being able to do multiple things out of the same player at different positions. Number 4, watching Mike Jenkins' trade demands. We all know that he's not going to be ready at the start of camp to begin playing. He's probably going to start on the physically unable to perform list. There's going to be a lot of releases. There's going to be a lot of injuries. We already know that Detroit has released Aaron Berry, their starting corner, or projected starting corner. So they were one of the teams rumored to be interested in trading for Jenkins. Will that heat up? Will Jenkins really want to make a big stink about his current contract situation being the fourth highest paid corner for Dallas now that Mo Claiborne has signed? If he was smart, he'd play it out and realize that he's going to get a big payday if he performs up to par, and he still has a chance to at least be the third cornerback, if not the second cornerback initially. So it would behoove him to go ahead and play all out, and if he's fully recovered from this shoulder injury, then to go ahead and give it his all in this training camp and as the season starts for Dallas. Number 3. One of the things that you need to know about is that Barry Church turned in a great offseason, and he got a lot of accolades and raised a lot of eyebrows about his performance. So much so that there is some speculation that he could knock out Rodney Poole from the starting free safety position. That's right, free agent acquisition Rodney Poole, who hasn't even played it down yet for the Dallas Cowboys. Poole might not even make the team if Church wins a roster spot because of Poole's salary for the upcoming season. So it'll be very interesting to see if Church, who has the multiplicity that I spoke of earlier that Rob Ryan desires, able to do multiple things from the same position, just maneuvered around in different places on the field. If he's able to put that to his advantage, play center field, have good ball reaction skills, and play that center field that they need and that they pretty much know they can get from Poole, if he can do all of that, then you might have a surprise starter for the 2012 season. Now, familiarity among the offensive line is very important in today's NFL. And for the second year in a row, the Cowboys are going to be turning over most of their starting lineup. They could, in fact, be turning over all 5 positions as the tackles Tyron Smith and Doug Free are switching. Nate Livings, a free agent acquisition from Cincinnati, is going to be the left guard. And then we're still up in the air about the battle for the interior right and the center. Now, Phil Costa is the incumbent at center, and he didn't start off the year well at all last year, but he did improve, although most people can't fathom that considering how bad his first half of the season was. From there, we also have Mackenzie Bernardo, who was brought in from Carolina, the leading candidate at the right guard spot, but he lost time over the offseason because of hip surgery. That opens the door for Bill Nagy, David Arkin, Kevin Kowalski, and Ron Leary. Now, outside of Leary, who was this year's undrafted free agent steal, because the Cowboys saw him as a third-round pick who slipped in the draft because of a degenerative knee issue, the other 3 are pretty much carbon copies of each other. 6'3", 300 pounds, a little bit undersized for today's NFL, and they're really kind of interchangeable. Now, David Arkin redshirted last year because he wasn't strong enough to play, but he was in the weight room and he supposedly improved, and he's going to be given a chance. He got the first team reps once Bernardo went out with his injury. Bill Nagy started on the left side at left guard before he was injured last year, but he really didn't show too much of anything, and it was an obvious upgrade once Montre Holland was brought back in the fold and he was given the starting opportunity. Kevin Kowalski an undrafted free agent from last year, never got a chance to start. He pretty much just played backup to all the positions up and down the line. And that versatility might save him because he can obviously play both guard positions and the center position, and that might save his roster spot. The interesting thing about these three guys is that while they could be either the right guard, the center, they could also be cut. So they could be either starter or cut for this training camp. So that's going to be one of the reasons that we really want to keep an eye on the interior offensive line battle for the Dallas Cowboys. Finally, at number 1, we're going to be talking about the third wide receiver position. Now, the optimist is going to tell you it doesn't matter who the third wide receiver is. We have Miles, we have Dez, we have Jason Witten. Whoever the third wide receiver is going to be the fourth option in the passing game. Plus, we have Murray and Jones out of the backfield who can catch, and they're going to be in these unique, nostalgic formations that's going to, give defensive nightmares and blah, blah, blah. The realist will tell you that Miles, Dez, DeMarco, and Felix are all injury prone, and Jason Witten is slowing down whether we want to admit it or not. So that leaves us with the options of Kevin Ogletree, who, if you remember, Tony Romo used to tell where to line up and what route to run after they broke the huddle and just discussed the play. So that's not a good option for me. And then the other options are the no-snap newbies, as I like to call them. You have Andre Holmes and Raymond Radway and Dwayne Harris and Danny Cole. Andre Holmes got a lot of accolades from the team, from Jerry Jones about the progress he's making and how much of a threat he is. He's a huge receiving target, and we would love to see him come in and play. But again, no snaps, no NFL experience. Danny Cole, he's a shifty slot receiver type from Virginia Tech. Broke his foot during the off-season work, and he still isn't going to be ready once training camp starts. Dwayne Harris, he was last year's 6th-round draft pick. Haven't seen much of him since the first preseason game of last year. And then Raymond Radway doesn't seem to be fully recovered from his broken leg that he suffered in the last preseason game last year. So these are really some guys that, they don't really seem to have any pedigree. And to be honest, if Miles or Dez goes down, you want somebody with some sort of pedigree. So I think the main thing that we're looking for is who are the Cowboys going to bring in? They have to at least bring in a veteran to compete with these guys, to at least, see if they can perform better than these young guys with no experience. So be on the lookout for them to be reaching out to either a current vet that's on the free agent market or a release that happens once some of these teams might be low to their receivers. Think the Patriots, who have like 18 receivers in their training camp right now. Think along the lines of that as far as who the Cowboys might bring in, a la Laurent Robinson, who we all know isn't a world beater, but because of the system they run and because of Tony Romo's prowess behind center, we can actually see them turn, pretty much a nobody into a guy that can catch 11 touchdowns for the year. So those are your top 5 storylines / camp battles for the Dallas Cowboys in 2012. I want to know what you're keeping your eye out for, what you're thinking about are the top battles. Go ahead and comment on the YouTube page or join us at Blogging the Boys for the discussion.